Hi guys, welcome. Welcome aboard if you are brand new. Welcome back if you're not. Welcome home if that sits perfectly for you. Today I want to do a pick a card reading. I guess this is pick a deck. I have 3 decks and we're literally just going to be looking for whatever messages you require at this time, whatever that may be for you. So whenever this finds you is the perfect time. So we're just looking for general messaging. What's needed for you? What do you need to hear about? What do you need to know? So the timestamps will be in the box below. You can go straight to your pile once you choose it, or you can listen to all of these. Remember, this is a general reading, so it will not resonate for everyone. Please know that you can take what works for you, what feels good for you, and you can leave the rest behind. That is absolutely okay. Again, it's a general reading and no one can read for every single human. Everyone is different. And again, this is a pick a deck reading. So I want you to just choose between these 3 decks. This is a place where your intuition becomes part of the magic of this reading. So whatever feels great for you, let's look at these 3 decks. So we have number 1, number 2, and number 3. Number 1 is the Baroque Tarot, and the images are so lovely. I just want you to have a peek at this artwork, most of which is upside down, but that is a-okay. It is lovely. It's very reflective of its name, right? Just beautiful. I like the deck very much. If that speaks to you, maybe it's your deck. This one is the Lunalapin Tarot. So it's got little bunny rabbits. They're so cute. How does that feel to you, huh? Super cute, aren't they? And the third, deck number 3, is the beautiful Rebellion Tarot. This is also quite lovely. I just dig the recycled artwork, interpreting each card. Just wonderful. So take a second, see how those decks feel for you. Again, we've got deck number 1, number 2, and number 3. What we'll do is create the piles together and then read through each pile. So you can witness the card pulling if you'd like, the shuffling. Sometimes there are messages in there that pop out, sometimes not. Either way, that's fine. I am going to allow your intuition a few seconds. So I'm going to be quiet now, and I'll either see you in the pile picking or in your reading. All right, guys, welcome to this place where your magic becomes evident, right? So let's start creating our 3 piles for these 3 decks. Yeah, and again, you know, wherever this finds you, it's absolutely perfect. It's just always kind of fun to to be part of this choosing process. I definitely enjoy this part as well. I like the shuffling. I like what pops out. And I like doing it together, right? Come on, let's see. There we go. Da, 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 da. So this is the, I love this deck, this Oracle deck. It's called Into the Lonely Woods, and it's such sweet messaging. Yeah. This next deck is the Moon Oracle deck, and I love this one too. Yeah, it's super based in mythology, in goddess lore, in the energy of the cards themselves and the moon phases, which I absolutely love. And I like the let's call it the perspective that deck offers. This deck, which one is this? This deck is called the Star Temple Oracle. It's primarily about constellations and the mythology surrounding the constellations. There's a lot of Pleiadian symbolism in this deck, which clearly I love, absolutely. But there's some other learning available in that deck, which I dig as well. And then this is the Starseed Oracle, which I absolutely love as well. I guess we have a pretty seriously cosmic reading today, which I kind of like. I did not do that intentionally, but now that I'm sitting here explaining what these oracle decks are, it feels pretty evident, even in a way that I wasn't paying attention to as I was choosing. So we'll just pay attention to that. All right, so we didn't have any pop-outs today, but that is a-okay. So again, going back, we have 1 and 2 and 3, and remember that our decks are 1 and 2 and 3. So if these feel a certain way to you, remember that you can watch 1 or 2 or all of these. It's absolutely okay. If they loop together in any way, I will definitely tell you as we're moving through. So just take a second, feel into these decks, see how that resonated with the chosen deck, 1 or 2 or 3 for you, right? And I will see you in your reading. Hey, pile number 1, welcome. So this is for those of you who have chosen pile number 1 or the Baroque Tarot. So let's go right ahead and just start in with your messages, okay? All right. So you have, I want you to be able to see it. There is one who watches over you. So that's sweet. This is a guardian card, right? So this is about messaging and your guardian and someone who is present, or perhaps a presence that is present, right? That you can intuit, that you have an awareness of, right? That is somehow protective or always there, right? So this is a reminder to be paying attention to the messaging that happens around you, mostly because sometimes this is subtle messaging, right? And excuse me, the other thing is that sometimes it's hard to discern your own messaging, right? Simply because, you know, we're not always, you know, sometimes it's hardest to interpret those things that come in for yourself. So sometimes it's easiest to just be in awareness and keep reminding yourself to look for those messages. You have the gibbous waxing water moon, right? So this is buds, passion. So this is the moon as she is growing. So here is clarity. This is about purpose, right? With this passion, this is about purpose and really witnessing your outcome. There's something here about really doubling down, witnessing your own expectation of growth, witnessing your own awareness, right? Your understanding that with this increased resonance, right? This is passion. So this is how your heart and soul are engaged. Again, so right, we're talking about really being mindful of what you're paying attention to and allowing that momentum of validation to be present, not just for you, but also with you, right? That's a pretty big deal. Okay, so this is Merope. This particular card is about the priestess. So Merope is, she is a star in the Pleiades, right? She's one of the 7 sisters. She is also the faintest, the dimmest, right? Her name means face turned. So she was the only sister who was wed to a mortal. And she was wed to Sisyphus, who was a criminal, right? He was convicted of many crimes. And so she was ashamed and thus turned her face. So she's not visible with the naked eye. She is very akin to water. And so she is about really having those wider visions, right? That being in flow. And as the priestess, we're talking about embodiment, right? And so her role as divine feminine, because she was linked with a mortal man, it's important to witness her as a bridge in the 3D. So not only is she about priestess energy and about that deep crown connectedness, right? So there's a gift of claircognizance here, that knowing, just instantaneous knowing, right? Where you have to know what you know like you know it. But she's also about spiritual growth and how you take those insights at your crown chakra and put them into action in the world, right? So this is about how we evolve, not only as a single individual human, but how that echoes out into the collective. Self-empowerment as self-embodiment, super important. And then last but not least, in terms of oracles, you have the blue flame. So this is spontaneous awakening, activation, and integration time. I love this, that you get this integration time, right? As we're doing this, again, this is a timeless reading. When it finds you, it's perfect. But if it finds you right as it's being read, Pluto just went direct in the sky. So this is absolutely about integration and how we are in embodiment, right? Those are lovely messages. So this particular card speaks of the challenges in terms of awakening or embodiment, or how you feel supported, right? In the sacred space that is your own awakening. And it's super important to understand that you're always supported, right, in the 3D and in the etheric realms, in all the other realms and dimensions, right? And so as you grow and evolve, you have more capacity. Let's see what the tarot has to say, because these are some pretty, I like these messages for you. Pile number 1. It seems kind of clear, but you know, the tarot sometimes has more to add or something else to say here. So let's just figure it out together, right? Right. Especially as we're talking about this connectedness and the way that our messaging is supported, right? Supported. So there may be something in this message that says to ask for guidance, right? Sometimes we have to ask for guidance so that as we're moving in line with our passions, we understand which direction we'd like to go, right? So you've got the 4 of Swords. That definitely talks about taking that time, really looking within and finding that source within that creates your capacity for embodiment, that connectedness, right, of your passion to not just to what happens in the world, but what happens within you. Always, always important. The 6 of Pentacles. Oof, the 10 of Wands. Okay. What are we putting down? What may have we been carrying that, oof, oh boy. Well, okay then. So, yeah, you're releasing things, pile number 1, in a big way. That's beautiful, right? Because there's plenty coming in. There's plenty coming in behind that release. Remembering that we never simply release a thing without gaining something in return, right? Absolutely. You know what? We're going to take her at the end. because she was so strong there. Okay, so let's have this conversation. You know what? I just want to fit her in. I want her to stand on her own. I don't want her to be... There we go. Okay. That's fine for me. How about for you? Okay, so so as we're talking about... Oh, see, I like the way that goes. Okay, so as we're talking about the way that you are really coming into clarity in terms of your purpose, and paying attention to your messages and stepping into your embodiment through your interconnectedness, right? Through that awakening process, and asking for the direction, right? When it comes to your own integration, your own embodiment. So we have this period here of having made choices, right? Having been sustained very beautifully during this, I want to call it your dark night of the soul, right? As you created a connection to your own inner being and moved through this place where we had to find the things to put down, where we had to come into awareness of what we're releasing and why we're releasing it, right? This is that journey, right? What is it that I need to let go of? How will I do it? Where does it best serve me? And in releasing it, I am given something behind that makes me realize, makes me understand why I had to put it down, right? So in every release, there's always a lesson. It's not enough just to hand something off. You have to understand the lesson of why you picked it up. What was the draw? What was the attraction, right? And so we have the devil as that 3D tether, as that 3D, let's call it attachment, that asks you, are you sure you want to put that down? Because maybe you liked it, maybe you loved it, maybe it was great, maybe it brought you joy, right? Maybe there was something in it that felt great momentarily, right? Because as we're talking about your passions, your heart, your highest good, and the way that you really want to be embodied, the question is that what I want? Do I want to be viewed as a person who is laden with these attachments, right? And so as you moved through, as something came in for you that gave you the inclination that you understood that there was something more, something better, something different, a new way to be grounded, a new way to be, let's call it embodied, right? So I don't have to show up in this same old way because I've gotten these messages. Oh, this might not be working for me. I might not want to embody in this way. I might see that I have a higher purpose, a higher calling, and in that flow, I'm always going to be supported. So I don't have to break my back moving through this tedious, challenging phase. No, in fact, I'm releasing all those attachments because I have this awareness. And as we make this higher choice, you know, the Lovers is always about choice. It's about divinely guided choice. It's about being witnessed as the embodiment, right, of the other as yourself. So this really speaks to the fact that not only are we always met in that place where we meet ourselves, but we're also met in the place that we expect to be met as deeply, right? And that's the place where we're going to put those down no matter what, if they're not in line. And so the Knight of Wands says, well, okay, we've learned what we're defending, right? We're willing to go a little bit further because we understand what's important here. We've made some choices. We've really considered what we're embodying and why, and how that asks us to step into that next level of ascendance, that next level of evolution and growth and development for ourselves. Right, so the challenges that come with that up-leveling, the challenges that come with that elevation, you know, sometimes you get a little altitude sick. Sometimes it's hard to adapt. Well, this High Priestess that came out at the very end speaks to that, right? She says, hold up, find your intuition. Always go back to your intuitive nature. Always go back to the ways that you're integrating and embodying that highest consciousness, right? Remember, this is your crown chakra. This is your claircognizance, right? This is about unity and transformation, right? This is about releasing things that are of the world, right? As opposed to the way that we choose to hold space for the divine in the world, right? We've got at least 3 beautiful majors here. And so these are pretty hefty majors, right? And they're definitely reflecting what's going on over here, right? Who's watching out for you? Who's sending you messages? Are you sure that's where you want to be? Are you sure, right? And here, what are you choosing, right? What is it that you're choosing, and how does that reflect in the world? How does that reflect you as your avatar, you as your evolved self, you as your capacity for insight, your utilization of your talents, the way that you're bringing your lineage to bear through your awareness, through your own journey of self-empowerment, right? What is it that you're bringing to the table for yourself and as yourself? Because those are the questions, right? And those are always going to be met, right? They're met and returned every single time. And so the way that you choose to engage and lean in absolutely speaks to the results that you're going to get. So I think the messages for you at this moment, pile number 1, are about paying attention, minding where you are in your journey, witnessing what sparks your heart, what sets your soul on fire, those things and places and ways that touch your deepest inner soul, right? Those things that you know just because you know them, those things that resonate with you and allow you to really gain momentum and not get to this place of, oh, I have to put that down. Instead, get to this place where, okay, I understand what it takes to be here in this moment, right? Yeah. So any way where you are looking for unity or transformation or balance in your 3D life, the requirement here is your own spiritual growth, right? So if you're out of balance in your actual life, instead look to your spirit, look to your soul. And the way to do that is to close your eyes, right? Get quiet, look inside, not outside. Here's your difference, right? The devil and the high priestess are those 2 of wands. Which are you choosing? Well, that divine choice remains to be seen. Don't make it a choice that's going to tax you. Make it a choice that's going to create reciprocity for you. Make it a choice that's going to spark your passion. And guess what? This says you'll absolutely know what the right choice is. All of these that speak to your own integration and your own message system, all you have to do is close your eyes and find the answer. You already know, right? Beautiful, absolutely beautiful, pile number 1. Hit the subscribe button so that you can come back and tell me how this goes for you. And until then, be blessed. Thanks for listening. If this is where we part, I wish you nothing but the best. And if you're staying for the second pile, I'll see you in just a second. Hey, pile number 2, welcome. Let's get right into your messages, right? Let's just start here. All right, the plight of the wanderer. Okay, so I love this card. So this says to me, you may have been going through some things that were challenging, or a lot, or that felt like heavy to carry, right? There may be some messages in pile number 1 for you, so you may want to check that too. But this is that place where what you're carrying or what you're managing or the way you're navigating just gets too heavy and you have to put things down, right? What you have in your hands and on your back and in your soul is just too much, and it has to be released, right? So you have to start by asking yourself, what is yours and what is not yours? And then there's always a way to find that guidance about what is too much. Whether that is your internal messaging, yeah, definitely. There's messages for you in pile number 1. Whether that's your internal messaging, or whether it's a guide or a friend or a divine voice that is going to help you sift through and sort out that messaging, to really help you as you choose what to put aside, what is too heavy, what belongs to you, what you can claim and what you can't, right? And then you get to bury those things and set them aside, put them where they belong, so that you may live freely, so that you may walk freely, so that you may travel more lightly, right? So that speaks to, that speaks to a whole lot of stuff going on for you. You also have the wheel. So this is, again, this speaks to me of the voice, the guidance, right? The guidance. So this is a card that talks about learning and talents and how you have your capacity to speak your truth, right? And in order to know what to put down, we have to know how to speak our truths, how we come into correctness, right? What belongs to us, what doesn't, how we can choose to build our web and perhaps gain that insight from others in a more powerful way. And remembering that the wheel is always about cycles and turning and what is moving through. And the key here is sometimes it feels great and sometimes it might not. Sometimes it feels great and sometimes it might not. But always remembering that we're in motion, right? You're not designed to carry all of the things all of the time. It's about how you've picked it up and how you're going to choose to put it down. Yeah, definitely. Please check out pile number 1. You have got some messaging there. Okay, so you also have the Jade Star, which is about surrender. I am ready to let go with self-compassion. So again, this is about how you feel about the things. This is a card of deep love, right? It's a card of really deep self-love and self-compassion, and how you feel about a thing, right? How you identify your feelings. And it's about your heart as a portal, right? Jade Star. This is the heart chakra. So this is the way that you're going to choose to sift and sort, right? How does this feel? Like, I mean, I don't want to get all Marie Kondo, but does it bring you joy? Does it add to your life? Does it increase your bliss quotient? And if not, that's your bellwether. That's how you know to put it down. You also have all paths lead to home. Inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze within. Again, here we're talking about what you're told versus how you feel. We're talking about using your inner authority, really creating your own self-agency and giving yourself the power to make the choices, to connect without cutting off, right? And what I mean by that is to engage without having to feel like you're overburdened and that you're going to close down, that you need to self-protect. And if you don't know how to do that, please seek assistance, because there are many ways to be empathically connected, deeply connected with the universe, and not deeply connected with the energies, right? There's a big difference there. If you need assistance, please reach out to me. That is a thing that I specialize with in my practice, right? How to guard your energy, how to manage your energy. So this is about that practice and development. Not to look away, but to lean in to what it is, so that you can put that energy into practice as a service to yourself and each situation that you're in. which is so critical in terms of how you're moving through. So that can be the difference of whether something feels like a burden or whether it feels like joy, right? And so I mean, it's kind of interesting to me that you have all of these cards at once. So this really speaks to me about what it is you're making choices about, like how your life wants to unfold and how you want it to unfold, and how that has to, look at that, come on. How you have to really be in your decision making, in your highest and deepest. Wow, y'all need to watch pile number 1. That is crazy. How you have to be in your highest and deepest awareness so that your inner GPS takes control and nothing, and nothing in the actual world. Right? So apparently you've been very patient through these cycles, remembering that sometimes patience leads you astray, right? Sometimes patience, here's the deal. Patience is a beautiful thing, but sometimes patience can keep you in a harmful situation far longer than anyone ever intended for you to be in that situation. So this might be your wake-up call, pile number 2. Oh yeah. All right, beautiful. Let's have this conversation, shall we? Woo. Okay, so again, you've got the 10 of Wands, which says, boy, I am tired. I am overburdened. I got too many things on my plate. I'm spinning too many things in the air, and I can't really do it anymore. I need to figure this out. So the 2 of Wands asks you, are you going to choose the 3D or the higher, right? You always have choices. And again, maybe you've planted some seeds and you've been waiting for things to cycle through. Well, here's your message. You're cycling. You're cycling now. Right, we're going to talk about how these mirror one another in your corners, right? And so the way that we want to really definitely create those speaking the truths, right? The moon indicates there might have been things that were hidden, things that you planted that have not yet seen the light of day. Sometimes we have to have the strength to let that go and move forward, whether or not we've gotten to fruition, whether or not we've gotten to blossom. Sometimes you have to walk away from it and trust it and understand that maybe when you turn around and look back, you'll see that growth. But it's all about, how does it feel? How does it feel? Do I feel connected to my distress, to my overburdenedness, to my sense of overwhelm? Is that what I'm connected to? Or am I going to be connected to completing that cycle? So, yes, perhaps. So let's talk about where we cut and run, right? There is a magic in really staying a course and witnessing a thing in its full blossom and full cycle. But there's also this message here that says sometimes you have to walk away, because holding on to an idea or to a circumstance or to a situation or to something that we've begun in terms of how we're going to hold on to that notion that ends up costing us far more than it was worth to begin with, right? Sometimes we burn too many bridges. Sometimes we have to cut our losses, right? And move from this sense of, I made a choice and I'm waiting. I'm just going to wait here for it because it felt really good at the time. But if it's not working, it's time. It's time to cut your losses and choose something else, right? You have so many wands significantly here, right? The 10, I'm overburdened. The 2, I made this choice. The 3, what's coming in for me? What is that? And if you don't know what it is, then guess what? It's time to cut your losses and move forward. The world says, you know what, let this cycle complete itself. It might not involve you. It might be a cycle that is someone else's cycle. You don't have to carry it. You don't have to be part of this wheel. Just because you're here doesn't mean your trajectory can't go somewhere else, right? You're not predestined. You are in choice every moment. And your idea about the way that you want to move forward doesn't have to be this, right? Just because you've spent a long time looking at something or planting it or tending it or thinking about it doesn't mean that that's where you're supposed to be, right? Perhaps the lesson is letting go. Perhaps the lesson is having the strength and courage to witness a different choice, right? Something else that will actually level you up, bring you back to your own inner agency, bring you back to your own sense of, I am my inner authority, right? Your own sense of, just because I was told this thing does not mean that this is for me. Just because I was told to plant this seed doesn't mean that I'm going to have to tend this plant, right? If you planted a thing and it didn't manage itself in a way that feels good to you, then perhaps it's time, right? The world says you have to end something sometimes so that you can begin something else instead of sitting around waiting. So I believe this is a really simple message. And I think you already know the answer, right? I think you already know what this is. This is a heart chakra answer. So this is about connecting with your heart and understanding where and what you're connected with, and understanding that sometimes you have to end a thing so that you can start something else. And so I believe, pile number 2, that your message is it's time. It's time to end whatever it is, to let it go, to do the work of healing that place within your heart, to claim or reclaim perhaps your own inner agency. And again, if you need counsel on this, you have it. You have only but to seek it, and it will be provided. But you have the strength to get through it, and you have the strength to let it go and heal from it and get into that new next cycle instead of continuing to walk the path that you've been walking in an expectation, right, that's never quite come into the light. So pile number 2, I wish you good luck. That is a big invitation. Again, there are messages for you in pile number 1. You might, if you have the time, go back and listen there. If not, I wish you nothing but the best here. Please hit subscribe so you can come back and tell me how this goes for you. And if this is where we part, thank you for being here. And blessed be, no matter what. Take care. And yeah, big blessings. Hey, pile number 3, welcome. Let's get right into your messages, shall we? Gifts of the Lonely Path. Gifts of the Lonely Path. Okay, I actually love this card. It goes right along with that concept of, like, you come home, you make tea, you put your feet up. You get to choose whether that's a blessing or a curse, right? So this is about the ways that we gain awareness and strength in our solitude, right? So it's being in your own sensations, being in flow with the rhapsody that is everything, right? Understanding that there's no real void. There's only space that's unexplored, that there's no darkness. Instead, there's study of the stars, right? So this is about insights that only you can glean, and you can only glean them for yourself. Like, this is like that sense of home that I talk about, right? Where only you can answer what home feels like, looks like, smells like, sounds like, tastes like. Only you can do that. And you can only do that in the solitude of your own heart. So doing that fearlessly, right? And witnessing it as a blessing. You have a last quarter waning water moon, right? Fall. So this is manipulation. So this is an interesting energy here. So this is about having some kind of mixed emotions, right? This is that last quarter square of the sun to the moon. So this is where we may feel out of sync, right? Nothing is really as it seems. So this is about really checking in with your perceptions, checking in with your need to protect or allow yourself to be vulnerable, right? Where are you feeling feelings of distrust or deception or a need to escape, right? These walk hand in hand as you're talking about what story are you telling and how are you telling it, right? What are you telling yourself about your situation? What are you telling yourself about your life, the people in it, the places in it, the way in which you actually live your life, the way you experience your life, right? Lovely. Okay, come on. So you have Tegeta. And this is the temple, right? This is home. I no longer search outside of myself for home. We just talked about that. So Tegeta is one of the brightest stars in the Pleiades. She is known as the mistress of animals. So she rules wild places and the throat chakra, right? Storyteller. She is literally the storyteller, the narrator. So this is about sharing an intentional story about how you move forward, about how you get unstuck, how you witness your truth, right, in terms of your intuitive expression, which is only and ever found in concert with your heart. Lovely. Oh, this is lovely. So you have Earth pulsing. This is the pulse of the mother. Slow down. And this is time in nature, right? So this is the way that you observe nature, the tides, the cycles, eras and eons, right? Giant spans of time and tiny ticks of time. This is divine timing, which is always and only your timing, right? So this says, how have you been feeling disconnected? How have you been feeling perhaps unsupported? And how have you been looking to the world, the external 3D world, as opposed to seeking that peace that you're looking for within yourself, right? This is about surrender and connection and really choosing to create that space that you are as your own home, right? I love the way that came together. So how are you creating who and what you are, right? In terms of where your source is, right? Where your where your need to not look outside yourself for truth, your connection to cycles, and indeed your actual embodiment as a force of nature in and of itself, right? You are the wild place. You are, you have no need to escape. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. You're exactly what you're supposed to be. You're exactly who you're supposed to be. And the way that your own heartbeat resonates. Okay, we'll take them both then. Fine, that's fine. The way your own heartbeat resonates deeply as the pulse of everything, of all things, right? So this is how are you choosing to witness it, and then how are you actually claiming it out loud? Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you start with the Lovers, which is always about choice, right? Choice and union and divine pairing, right? Divine communication. And so as we talk about your communication being with yourself, right, and timing being as yourself, we actually want to witness that as messaging from your highest and best, messaging from the highest and best as yourself. Oh, come on. Another 10 of Wands. We have a 10 of Wands in every single one of these decks. So you can choose to listen to just this one. You can go back and listen to the other two if you want. All right, let's see. Let's get more into what this actually is speaking here. So, wow, we got the 9 of Wands and 2 of them as well. Wow. So these energies, y'all. So the 9 of Wands. This is about, what do I really need to put down, right? This is about endurance. This is about stamina. This is like, dog, I am tired. I am tired of this. Can I please get to this, right? And how am I going to do that? I understand that there's something higher for me. I understand that. But man, I'm tired. The 6 of Wands is a card of victory, though. And the King of Swords is all about understanding that you're in control of the way that your ideas create your reality. So perhaps there's something that's coming in for you, right? Some insight or some awareness or some place where you lean into the quiet, where you lean into the silence and the solitude, and you gather a piece of information that allows you to move from this state of tiredness, right? This state of weariness. And this is soul weariness, right? It's not just, oh, I'm standing here and by gosh, I've worked really hard. No, this is that fatigue of your soul that creates the place from which you must move, right? It gives you the idea, the intention that something must change. And 6 of Wands says, whatever it is, you've got this, right? You've got this. We have perhaps conflicting ideas here, but whatever idea you choose is the right one, because we're going to choose the one that feeds our soul, right? This is about, you know what? This is about learning a skill, gathering a piece of information, gathering something that allows you to make a choice, that allows you to choose something higher, something deeper, something better and more that creates that victory for you, right? This might be a person, pile number 3. This might be a person. This might be a new way to experience in relationship, right? That gives you that feeling of connectedness. This might be a connection in your life. And it doesn't have to be a romantic connection, right? Just because we've got the Lovers and the 2 of Cups here, well, and the Page of Cups. Yeah, this might be a person. Pile number 3. It might be a person. It doesn't have to be romantic. It just has to be emotionally fulfilling. Okay? That's the difference. It doesn't have to be, oh, I'm falling in love. It can be, oh, I have an increased capacity to love, right? There's a big difference, and it doesn't necessarily have to be about that. This can be about the way that you learn to choose. It can be a lesson that allows you to really find a way to put down what is absolutely no longer manageable. And again, with this 10 of Wands here in all 3 readings, there are messages in all 3 piles for you. So if you want to go back and check it out, please go back and check it out. But specifically here for you, this is about something coming in for you, something that creates a pivotal moment that allows you to make a choice, that allows you to reconnect with your own personal soul. And this might be something that you gained in your solitude, right? Perhaps you've gone through a long phase of being contracted and being distrustful and being really deeply self-protected because you have a past hurt, a past deception, a past compulsion to escape, right? You've closed all your doors. Well, I think the universe is inviting you to, at least after you explore that space in a different way, right? So if that's what you've done and you've closed yourself off, First of all, you're being invited to witness a softening, right? Reconnect. Find a place that feels safe, find a place where you can feel that ebb and flow of natural life, of the universe, of the earth, right? Feel your own heartbeat as the heartbeat of the earth herself. And when you can do that, right, then you have no need to search outside yourself for home. You have remembered yourself as home. And at that point, not only will you understand how and why to put things down, but you will be able to do it effortlessly. You will be able to do it as second nature, right? The King of Swords has no need to contemplate, is this the correct action or not? He already knows, right? He already knows. And the key is he's not afraid to speak it. He's not afraid to tell that new story of victory, to tell that new story of an over-burgeoning heart, right? Full of joy and bliss and contentment and satisfaction, right? And if all we have to do is figure out what to let go of, and everything that we let go of is all the stuff that we believed was ours but no longer is, and we've already learned that lesson, then the key is, do you have the capacity to trust your own process, to trust your own heart, to trust your own decisions, right? To cut out, right? Two of Swords is, it looks like a scissors for a reason, right? This is about how we cut away everything that is not of my highest and best, of my own concept of myself as temple, of my own understanding of myself as a reflection of everything, right? And how we distract ourselves or allow ourselves to be manipulated, to think that other things are more important than our heart's connection. Well, that's deception, that's illusion, that's manipulation, and it's self-delusion, it's self-manipulation. So this is a reconnection with yourself, pile number 3. I believe for you, the message is about a lesson. The message is about a learning. The message is about finding a way to recognize your own heart's messaging in a bigger, deeper way, right? In a way that creates for you the opportunity to follow your passions, right? Wands are about passions. They're about what sets you on fire, right? So we've got the Lovers and the Two of Cups and the Page of Cups. These are highly charged, impassioned cards on fire, right? And the way that we figure out how to do that is to put down anything that isn't really lighting us up, that is creating feelings of fatigue or deception or like an energy sucking vortex. No, thank you. Close that down. And the way to find those places is to stop, close your eyes, and discover them in your solitude. And that is where you learn where home is. You already know. You already know. And it's just about understanding that only you have the power. Only you have the power. And you learn that power. You learn how to exercise that power in those moments of solitude, in those moments of quiet. And then you'll know instinctively and intuitively what to put down, because you already know what doesn't belong in the temple of your life, in the temple of your soul, in the temple of your heart, in the temple of your home. And I mean that home with all capitals, right? What does it feel like to you? What does it look like, smell like, taste like, sound like? Anything that's not in line with that, boy, you know. You already know. And it's time to cut those away, put that down so that you can live in this full existence, this thriving existence. You're telling the story about how you're getting unstuck, how you're moving forward, right? How you're allowing anything that is, the word I want to use is painful, anything that doesn't feel supportive, anything that doesn't feel sustainable or sustaining, right? To just let go. We let that go, right? We cut it out and allow it to just wash away. And guess what? What you learn is when you claim yourself as your own home, right? None of this will stay. None of it can stay. None of it can be sustained when you are at your highest and best. Nothing else will stay. And if you can allow the falling away, if you can allow it, all things that are not yours to literally cut themselves away, shake themselves out of your life from this seismic pulsing, right? Just allow that energy to do the work for you. I think you'll be very surprised. And so whatever this awareness is, whatever this lesson is, whatever this skill is that's coming in for you, this new experience, way of feeling that you have created, learned about, heard about, chosen, right? Whatever you're going to do in order to flex into your internal power and open your heart. Because boy, you're going to have to. You're going to have to open your heart here. And in opening your heart, all of the burdensomeness falls away, because there is no baggage that can be sustained in your heart, right? There just isn't. There's only the way that you get recharged. So if you got to go out and put your feet in the grass, go out and put your feet in the grass, right? You're being invited to do just that, to allow yourself to be facilitated by nature herself, by the energy of by the heart of our mother, right? This is earth energy. This is creating the temple. This is grounding and rooting in your own heart and soul, right? So how you choose to embody yourself, how you choose to create the flow for yourself is your lesson, is your message. Pile number 3. I love it. It's beautiful. Again, there are definitely messages in piles 1 and 2 for you. So if you choose to listen, that's great. If not, that's okay. Either way, please hit subscribe so you can come back and tell me all about it. And until next time, thank you for listening and be blessed.